Good evening, friends. It was a great pleasure to see my old friend, Sri Vittal Ramamurthy ji. It's been a long time, I think since 1980, mid-1980s, we are friends. And we have performed together several times. And I would like to thank Srimati Sujata and Mr. Warman for inviting me to speak about a few words about this concert. I have several stories to share. When I grew up in Chennai, it's outskirts of Chennai, and I learned music. I used to sing by hearing, and my father used to sing Tirupugar songs. The interesting thing is, the kids around my neighborhood, they used to make fun of me for singing this Carnatic music. So I came from that kind of place. So I will stay home until 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock because, when it gets dark, I'll come out, to escape from all my friends' comments about this music. But, I loved my music. My father used to sing so beautifully Tirupugar songs. He wanted to pursue this music, but he couldn't do it. So I had a great opportunity to study this music, and in fact, I never thought that I am coming to US to teach here for non-Indian students. So all it gave me only this music. So I respect this music, and I want to say a few words about the music. Music is a fine art, as you all know, but it is finest amongst the fine art. Why? Because music is an invisible art. Can anybody see the sound? You cannot. You cannot even touch and experience that. Of course, you can make sound out of that. By touching instruments, you can make sound, but you cannot see the sound. So, it's a great art to understand the music first, invisibly, and then you have to take it to your mind, heart, and then you have to exhibit or execute it properly. However, my teacher, Sangeeta Kalanidhi, Sri T. Vishwanathan, would always insist that music should be visualized, like a painting. Then it will be a treat to one who creates and to the recipient. Ancient Tamil saint singer Thirunavukarasar describes Lord Shiva as Osai Oliyalam Anai Niye, which means you are in the form of sound and a refined sound. So all sounds are not musical. So when you go in Chennai, you can listen a lot of auto rickshaw sound that kills your eardrum. So that's not a musical sound. So he says Osai is like a noise, and the Oli is a refined sound. And it makes us to be proud of our great ancestors about how they defined and differentiated the sound and the refined sound. 1,000 years later, Saint Tyagaraja described Lord Shiva in a song, Nada Tanamanisha. He describes that I worship Lord Shiva, who is an embodiment of Nada, a refined sound. The sound and rhythm are universal, but the music is different in each culture. Manya's violin solo was an amalgamation of refined sound, perfect rhythm, and musicality. Her sensitivity in violin playing reflected the composition, raga alapana and swarakalpana, and it was a pleasant treat for us. Playing with an accompaniment is an enjoyable thing in Carnatic music. Her call and response with the accompanying artist was wonderful to watch and listen, especially the Karara Priya, Swarakalpana, when they take turn. That was amazing to watch. So, in this juncture, I would like to talk about her teacher, Srimati Padma Shankar. As Vittalji mentioned, she is a fantastic musician and ardent follower of Padma Shri Lalgudi sir's Bani. Thanks to the technology that she was able to teach Manya, even though both teacher and student live far away from each other and made the learning process easy. Padma is continuing her guru style and carrying forward to the next generation. She has very well trained Manya to a great extent. About the Raga Alapana, she performed, I think, I have to say that Karagara Priya and Harikamboji, such ragas, was not very popular before Tyagaraja's period. So she took a perfect composition and elaborated the Raga Alapana so nicely, and as Vittalji mentioned, the Gamaka was, it was very apt to that particular song. And that song has a lot of sangatis. Usually the Pallavi has more than 10 sangatis. And, but she made her so compact for this performance. And that was beautiful. And her tone, especially the violin tone, that's very difficult to get a person. So you can get a musicality, by listening so many things. But the tone, it has to come from a musician who creates that. So she has that. And her Swarakalpana was very crisp, especially in the Hamsadvani Kirtana. I was able to listen all the text of the songs. That is another great feature of aspect of Lalgudi sir's style, because he himself a great singer. I think Vittalji also learned only vocal music, right, first. And my teacher also felt the same when I wanted to learn flute. So he said, you can learn flute in 6 months, but you have to know how to sing. So that vocal music is very, very important for the instrumentalists. So I was able to listen to every line. In fact, when she played Endro Mahanubavalu, she played each swarams twice. One for swaram technique and then another one for sahitya technique. So I thoroughly enjoyed your violin playing. And the choreko was, as I mentioned, it was beautiful. And next, Mridangam, Kavi Chelvan. What a nice name, beautiful. So he has both poetry and a music within him. And he gave an excellent accompaniment. I was talking to Vittalji that he was like giving an excellent accompaniment. That is very, very important for the main artist, whether it's an instrumentalist or a singer. And Tani was usually Sangeeta Kalanidhi, Trichy Shankaran sir used to say, he would always mention that Tani is not a separate part of improvisation, and it's an extension of the main song. So he proved it today. And his brilliant Kanakku and Sarvalagu were very well balanced and remained at both schools of Palgad, Sri Maniyar and Velur Ramabhadran sir's part. And Kanjira, Sri Kabilan's Kanjira sounded so soothing, and Gumki especially. And sometimes it sounded like a Gadam and a Ganjana together. So beautiful. I was thinking of V. Nagarajan sir because he was my teacher's very close friend. They were all grew up together. And then he used to play, Mridangam. And then he got, some accident, and then he switched over to Kanjira. And he was a right-handed Mridangist, and then he switched over to left-handed, Kanjira artist. So he reminded me, he reminded Shri, Nagu sir very much. And then, so that's what I wanted to share with you. Long way to go to young musicians. It was a great concert, and I thoroughly enjoyed each and every moment of it. I wish all the best for these artists. Now it's time to say a few words about Mania's parents. I'm really